नमस्सर्वेभ्यः। व्योम-संस्कृत-पाठशालायाः लघुसिद्धान्तकौमुदी द्वितीयभागे अद्य 36 वाग्वर्धिनीवर्गः अभ्यासवर्गश्च। येन अक्षरसमाम्नायमधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः। वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयं। नत्वा सरस्वतीं देवीं शुद्धां गुण्यां करोम्यहं पाणिनीयप्रवेशाय लघुसिद्धान्तकौमुदीम्। अष्टाध्याय्याः द्वितीयपादे अन्तिमं भागम् अद्य पठामः। श्यामला भगिनी
नमस्ते।
कृपया अनुवदतु। एत ईद् बहुवचने
एत ईद् बहुवचने एत ईद् बहुवचने
वाक्यस्य टेः प्लुत उदात्तः
वाक्यस्य टेः प्लुत उदात्तः वाक्यस्य टेः प्लुत उदात्तः
प्रत्यभिवादे शूद्रे
प्रत्यभिवादे शूद्रे प्रत्यभिवादे शूद्रे
दूराद्धूते च
दूराधूते च दूराधूते च
हैहे प्रयोगे हैहयोः
हैहे प्रयोगे हैहयोः हैहे प्रयोगे हैहयोः
गुरोरनृतोऽनन्त्यस्यापि
गुरोरनृतोऽनन्तस्यापि गुरोरनृतोऽनन्तस्यापि
एकैकस्य प्राचाम्
एकैकस्य प्राचाम्
ओमभ्यादाने
ओमभ्यादाने
ये यज्ञकर्मणि
ये यज्ञकर्मणि
प्रणवष्टेः
प्रणवष्टेः
याज्यान्तः
याज्यान्तः
ब्रूहि प्रेष्य
ब्रूहि प्रेष्य
श्रौषड् वौषड्
श्रौषड्
आवहानामादेः
आवहानामादेः
अग्नीत् प्रेषणे परस्य च
अग्नीत् प्रेषणे परस्य च
विभाषा पृष्ठप्रतिवचनेहेः
विभाषा पृष्ठप्रतिवचनेहेः
निगृह्यानुयोगे च
निगृह्यानुयोगे च
आम्रेडितं भर्त्सने
आम्रेडितं भर्त्सने
अङ्गयुक्तं तिङाकाङ्क्षम्
अङ्गयुक्तं तिङाकाङ्क्षम् विचार्यमाणानां
पूर्वन्तु भाषायां प्रतिश्रवणे
च
अनुदात्तं प्रश्नान्ताभिपूजितयोः चिदिति चोपमार्थे प्रयुज्यमाने
चिदिति चोपमार्थे प्रयुज्यमाने
उपरिस्विदासीदिति च
उपरिस्विदासीदिति च
स्वरितमाम्रेडिते
स्वरितमाम्रेडिते
असूयासम्मति
असूयासम्मति कोपकुत्सनेषु
क्षियाशीः प्रैषेषु
प्रैषेषु
तिङाकाङ्क्षम्
तिङाकाङ्क्षम्
अनन्त्यस्यापि
अनन्त्यस्यापि
प्रश्नाख्यानयोः
प्रश्नाख्यानयोः प्रश्नाख्यानयोः
प्लुता वै च इदुतौ
प्लुता वै च इदुतौ प्लुता वै च इदुतौ
एचोप्रगृह्यस्य
प्रगृह्यस्य
अदूराद्धूते
अदूराद्धूते अदूराद्धूते
पूर्वस्यार्धस्यात्
पूर्वस्यार्धस्यात् पूर्वस्यार्धस्यात्
उत्तरस्येदुतौ
उत्तरस्येदुतौ
तयोर्य्वावचि संहितायाम्
तयोर्व्यावचि संहितायाम्
पूर्वत्राचि
पूर्वत्राचि
षडोर्नसत्त
षडोर्नसक्त
एत ईच्चिदित्यष्टौ
एत ईच्चिदित्यष्टौ
सम्यक् धन्यवादाः
धन्यवादः
अष्टमाध्यायस्य द्वितीयपादे शतोत्तरम् अष्टौ सूत्राणि So the first sutra was Purvatra Siddham. Purvatra Siddham. Achi Vibhasha. Pareshcha Ghankayoho was 21. Shadhoh Kassi was 41. Nasatta Nishattanutta Praturta Surta Gurtani Chandasi was 61. Eta Eid Bahuvachane was 81. And Chiditi Chopamarthe Prayujyamane was 101. So after that, we have 8 sutras, 101 to 108. 101 is here. So Purvatrachi Shadhor Nasatta Eta I Chidityashtau. Agre gachamaha. So we will do very quickly a recap of what we learnt in the first 2 lessons of the Vibhaktirtha Prakarana. Right? So we have completed the learning of Shabda Rupas. What are the forms of various kinds of Shabdas in various Vibhaktis? So we have the forms ready, where to use them. So what are the contexts of usage of different Vibhaktis? Right? So this is a topic which is learnt right at the beginning of Samskrita Bhasha Adhyayana. That is probably the first thing we learn, right? So the general sentence structure and how to use the Vibhaktis. But as we move on, as we get into the Shastra, we also have a chance, a perspective, to understand the perspective from which this has been looked at in the Shastra. So that is what we are trying to do. So don't worry if it feels a bit complicated or long drawn at times, but that is the intention, because the moment we have something to do with meaning, right? So our Shastras especially, they have done an extremely deep discussion on each of these aspects. So I'm just trying to introduce you to some of the important terms and concepts. Slowly over several rounds of studying this, they will become clearer. So when we say the Vibhakti Nimitta, if we look at the Ashtadhyayi, Panini has one pada, that is 2-3, Dvitiyadhyayasya Tritiyaha Padaha, which is dedicated to Vibhaktis. So he says Dvitiya, Tritiya, Chaturthi, say Karmani Dvitiya. So goes on defining the contexts for each Vibhakti. What are the conditions or contexts in which we have that particular Vibhakti? So those nimittas for the Vibhakti are of 5 kinds. The first one is Karaka. As we have seen, Karaka is direct relation to an action or Kriya is called Karaka. Upapadam, where there is no relation with the action, but this is related to the meaning of a specific word in the sentence, that is called Upapadam. Third is Pratipadika, where the Vibhakti does not convey anything more than the meaning of the Pratipadika itself. So there is no additional information being conveyed by the vibhakti. The fourth case is sambandha, where the vibhakti just conveys a relation to some other object which is a part of the sentence. And the last one is karma pravachaniya sanya, which is a specific term defined by Panini, due to which there are vibhakti modifications in certain cases, which is very similar to upapada vibhakti actually. So very briefly, when we saw the examples of these, so Ramena hataha Ravanaha. Ravana was killed by Rama. The Tritiya Vibhakti there is called a Karaka Vibhakti because it tells that Rama is the Karta. So Kartari Tritiya. This Tritiya Vibhakti indicates that Rama is the doer, the agent of the action of killing. Right? So it is because of it, whether we say Ravanaha Ramena Hataha, Ravanaha Hataha Ramena, the meaning does not change. Why? In English, some of this information is conveyed by word order, right? So if I say Rama killed Ravana or Ravana killed Rama, the meaning changes completely because in English, the word order also conveys some information. Whereas in Sanskrita, because it is conveyed by the vibhakti and the vibhakti is an integral part of this word. So as long as you have Ramayana, it will keep conveying that Rama is the Karta. So wherever you put that word in the sentence. Next we have Upapada, Ramayana Vina Sita na Jivati. So here the connection of Ramayana is not with Jivati, but it is with Vina, without Rama. Right? So Vina is a word which is nearby. Nearby again, not physically. Connected in meaning is what we mean. So it is connected to a specific word in the sentence. So the Tritiya Vibhakti tells that there is this word. This word causes Tritiya Vibhakti on Rama. That is what we mean by Upapada Vibhakti. When I just say Ramaha, anywhere where Prathama Vibhakti is used, Prathama Vibhakti does not convey any extra information. It just echoes the meaning of the Pratipadika. So Rama just means a singular one entity called Rama. If I say Ramaha, there are multiple entities called Rama or multiple entities Rama. That is all it says. It doesn't say whether he is the Karta or Karma or there is a specific word in the sentence. Nothing. Whereas in Sambandha, Ramasya Patni. So the Shashti is indicating the relation of Rama to something else in the sentence. Last Karma Pravachaniya, Bharataha Ramat Prati. So Bharata is a representative of Rama. So here Prati is a term which is called Karma Pravachaniya. Since we haven't really studied Karma Pravachaniyas, you may find it a bit difficult to relate to this. One of the more popular Karma Pravachaniyas is the Ang. When we say Abalat or Avriddhat, Asetoho, Ahimachalat. So everywhere that A is something which is called Karma Pravachaniya, because of which the associated word is in Panchami Vibhakti. Similarly, here also. So this Panchami Vibhakti is caused by the Karma Pravachaniya Samjna given to Prati. That is what I mean when I say Vibhakti Pravrittau Karma Pravachaniya Samjna Nimittam Bhavati. Right? So these are the 5 contexts of Vibhaktis. Among these, initially we will look into Karaka. Right? We will try to understand what is Karaka and go deeper. So before that, just to show this Vibhakti Vidhana in Ashtadhyayi, as I said, he starts say with Karmani Dvitiya and gives a series of sutras for Dvitiya. You will find all the different types of Dvitiya among that. So Karmani Dvitiya, where the Karma Karaka gets Dvitiya, is a Karaka Dvitiya. In specific words or context, you get Dvitiya, which is all Upapada. Then you have Karma Pravachaniya Yukte Dvitiya, which is the last type. Okay. So as we saw also, Prathama Vibhakti is always in Pratipadika and Pratipadika is conveyed only by Prathama. That is a one-to-one relation. There is no other Vibhakti which simply echoes the Pratipadika. All other Vibhaktis add something to the meaning. It is only Prathama which is just in Pratipadika. Okay. All the rest, say Dvitiya, has sometimes we have Karaka Dvitiya, sometimes Upapada, and sometimes Karma Pravachini. So Dvitiya, Panchami, and Saptami have all these three nimittas for their usage. Whereas Tritiya and Chaturthi have only Karaka and Upapada. We don't see Karma Pravachaniya Samya there. So this again we will understand better. At the end of Vibhaktyartha, I will take up a few sutras which define Karma Pravachaniya and see the examples. Okay. Shashti is interesting. Normally we identify Shashti as Sambandhe, right? Relation. Shashti is the only Vibhakti which indicates a general relation. Okay. But there is also a variety called Karaka Shashti. Though, again, in the initial stages when we are learning, we say that, okay, Prathama and Shashti are not Karaka Vibhaktis, but Shashti does have a Karaka variety, which we will learn in the coming classes. So, Karakas can be expressed by 6 Vibhaktis, any Vibhakti other than Prathama. For Upapada, default is Shashti. All Upapada Vibhaktis are basically a kind of apavadas to Shashti. Therefore, we have it for all 5 other than Shashti. Then Karma Pravachaniya is there with 3 Vibhaktis. Right? So, what would be an example of Karma Pravachaniya in Saptami? Adhi, right? Adhirame bhuhu, etc. we have. So, this land is under the control of Rama. Right. So, there we have Adhirame bhuhu, Adhibhuvi Ramaha. So, we will see those later. Okay. Then we saw about Karaka, Kriyanvayi or Kriyajanakam Karakam. So the first thing is it is related to the Kriya, but not only that, it generates action. So these are all the objects which are required for an action to happen. So that is why the derivation, the term Karaka means Karoti iti Karakam, that which does. Okay. So we call it, generally we say it is related to the action, right? So a very popular example. So Raja Gam Hastena Vipraya Goshthat Ganga Tire Dadati. So there are 6 factors here, all of which are Karakas. The person who does, the Karta. The object is called Karma. What exactly is a more precise definition of Karta and Karma? We will see in this week's videos. But I think a general understanding everybody has. Karanam is the instrument of action. Sampradana is the intended recipient of the action, specifically with giving. Then Apadana is the point of separation. And Adhikarana is the substratum for action, which can be place, which can be time, right? And it can also be an abstract substratum, right? Related when you're thinking about something, etc. So these are the general and definitions of Karakas. Remember, Karakas have a general definition. They also have some specific varieties, right? So those we will see later when we go into the sutras for different ones. These are the general Karakas. Right? And we also saw that the important thing about Karaka is it is an Artha Sanya. It is not for a word. Karaka is an object, Padartha. That padartha can be expressed by different words, but that is all the vachaka of the karaka, but the karaka itself is for the padartha. Secondly, any object can have different karaka relations with different kriyas. Right? So you cannot designate a particular object as karta or karma without the reference of kriya. So karaka is a relative sanya. So related to this kriya in this particular context, he is the karta. The same kriya, he could be a karma if the relation is different. Right? So what we have tried to do in the exercise of this week is to just understand that karaka relationship with the kriya. Right? So if you have any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, we will start with the exercise. So there is a question. Abrahma bhuvanallokaha punaravartinorjuna. We don't have panchami. There is a samasa. So with ang, if we are using it separately, there is panchami vibhakti. So a brahmanaha is the usage. But when we do a samasa, the vibhakti pratyaya is dropped. So we will not hear the vibhakti pratyaya in a samastapada. Aham gramam gacchami versus maya gramaha gamyate. Anayoho vakyayoho madhye karaka nirnaya vishaye bhedaha kopi asti va. Nasti. That is the key factor. So there is no difference in karakas. When I say aham gramam gacchami, gamana kriya, karta is aham and karma is grama. When I say maya gramaha gamyate, there also karta is aham and grama is the karma. That is exactly the point which I wanted to make through the exercise. It does not, the karaka relation is for the padartha. So the same relation can be expressed in the language in different ways. So we will see that again in coming lessons. So it does not depend on the words which you are using. It is mainly on the meaning, and there are different ways in the same language of expressing the same relation. What about Visheshanas in Prathama Vibhakti? What about them, as in, what exactly do you want to ask about them? Visheshanas in Prathama Vibhakti.
They map to the Visheshya, right? They don't map to the to the Kriya Padam. That was one doubt which I had.
Could you please repeat?
No, the Visheshana maps to the Visheshya, not to the Kriya Padam. I was
No.
having that doubt.
Yeah, see, the Visheshana, as I said, the Kriya Pada, when I say Karaka, Karta, it is that object, right? Say there is a boy, right? So whether you are calling him as Balaha or whether you are calling him as Buddhiman, what does the word Buddhiman indicate? It indicates the boy. What does the word Bala indicate? That also indicates the boy. So the boy, that Padartha is the Karta. Whatever the number of words you use to indicate that same Padartha in that sentence will all be Karta. That Buddhiman, what is the Padartha by that Buddhiman, is the one who is doing the action, assuming say Buddhiman Balaha Pathati. So he is the Karta. So that is why we call that is what we mean by Samana Adhikaranya. Samanam Adhikaranam means the same object. All Visheshanas and Visheshya refer to the same object. There is only one object, and that object is either the doer of the action or the karma.
One other question. There, when the Visheshana is used, like Gataha Balakaha or Kurvan Balaha, Pratipadhikartha is generally in the Prathama Vibhakti, we said. So here Gataha Kurvan is also in Prathama Vibhakti.
The Prathama Vibhakti there indicates only the Pratipadhikartha. Whatever is the meaning of Gata, the person who has gone, is indicated by Prathama. That's all. Prathama does not add any more information there. Gata, you have a Kartarikta Pratyaya. That is different. right? You have gam, you have kta, and you have prathama. Right? We will get into that. We will analyze those words more. But there, the prathama is still in pratipadika. So again, so there are a lot of questions regarding that prathama. Since karta is also karaka, why don't we put a tick in prathama for karaka? We will come to that. That's a very important concept in the karaka prakarana. We will understand that as we move ahead. Okay.
Bhagini, Shigram avyayam asti. I cannot find for that solution in this.
We will discuss all the exercise. Yeah, we will discuss all the exercises.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So in ayam Ramaha. Ramaha pratipadikaarthaha ityuktam. Ayam Ramaha asti. Will Rama be the karta? Rama will be the karta. Right? If I say Ramaha gacchati, Rama is the karta. But Prathama Vibhakti is not indicating the karta. Okay. So that's a very, very important difference. So we will come to that definitely. So keep all your questions about Prathama Vibhakti aside for 2 more weeks maybe. So we will understand that. Okay. So when we are discussing first, so the first important thing which I want to do in this chapter is to separate Vibhakti from Karaka. Right? That is something which is so ingrained in us that we find it difficult to separate. So Rama is the karta. I am not saying Rama is not the karta. Remember, Rama is different. The vibhakti there is different, right? There are 2 components to Ramaha, right? Rama is there. We have the supratyaya, which is the prathama vibhakti. Rama is the karta. Yes. If I say Ramaha gacchati, Rama is the karta. If I say Ramaha maya namyate, Rama is the karma. Correct. But the prathama vibhakti there is not kartari prathama or karmani prathama. The vibhakti is not indicating the karta or karma. So we say pratipadikarte prathama. For now, trust me, and wherever you find pratipadikar prathama, just put pratipadikārtha. Why it is so, we will definitely learn, as it's a very important component of the Vibhakti Artha Prakarana. Then, if there is no difference at all between passive and active voice, I didn't say there is no difference at all. I said there is no difference in Karaka relation. In both passive and active voices of the same sentence, the Karakas are the same. It is just expression of Karakas is different, right? So there is like, for example, there's one nice shloka about Kalidasa, right? So there were some Brahmins, Kechana Brahmanaha asan. They knew that Bhoja was a lover of poets, and he will give grants or prizes to anybody who composes a kavya. So they thought they should create a poem and get a prize from the king. Right? So they sit together, half a day they sit. They can't come up with any poem. They don't have that poetic creativity. So finally at midday, they are very hungry. So they come up with Bhojanam Dehi Rajendra. Ghrita Supa Samanvitam. One more person adds, okay, not just a bland food. Ghrita Supa Samanvitam with ghee and soup, that is sambar or something. Okay. So by then, Kalidasa is passing by there. And he looks at them, they look very unhappy. So he asks them, what is the problem? They say, we are trying to create a shloka. And they give the first 2 halves, we came up with it, but we are unable to complete the shloka. So immediately, Kalidasa says, okay, just write it down. Mahishancha Sharatchandra Chandrika Dhavalan Dadhi. Right? So, Dadhi. So he did nothing else. He said, okay, along with Ghrita Supa, also curd. But what kind of a curd? Mahishamcha Sharatchandra Chandrika Dhavalam. So curd of Mahisha. Mahisha is a buffalo. So which is rich, fatty curd. Sharatchandra Chandrika Dhavalam. right, which is as white as the moonlight of a Sharat Chandra. Right? So when he goes, when they write it and go to the king. So he listens to it. He immediately says, okay, the first line is not poetry. I cannot give anything for that. The second one, I'll give you 500 varahas or 1000 or whatever. So the difference is expression. How we express something. The meaning may be the same. It may be very mundane also. But how we express it in a language matters. Right? So that is the difference between whether you use passive in a time or active voice, or use a samasa, or express it in some other way. So expression. So there are two components to the language. One is the meaning part of it. The other is the shabda. Shabda and artha. Yadyapi vagarthau sampraktau tatra ramaniyata bhavet. Shabdanam ramaniyata, arthasya ramaniyata. So the expression of the language, the different ways, the same paryaya padas. Why don't we always use one word for jalam? Why does Amarakosha have 50 different words for jalam? So all this is something more than just conveying artha. Right? It is not just conveying the plain meaning. The plain meaning, whether I say Ramaha Vanangachati or Ramena Vanamgatam, is that Rama is doing the action of going and the object was Vana. How I express it is different. Okay. We will start with the Abhyasa. Any other questions? Eteshu vakyeshu rekhankita padanam vibhaktim abhigyaya tat pravrittau kim nimittam. So the first exercise is what is the vibhakti and what is the nimitta. So we have seen 5 nimittas: karaka, upapada, pratipadika-artha, sambandha and karma pravachaniya. What is the nimitta in this particular context? Right? So tasmai paninaye namaha. Mahalakshmi. Bhagini.
नमस्ते पाणिनेः चतुर्थी विभक्तिः कारकं निमित्तं
Kim karakam?
सम्प्रदानकारकम्
No, I mean, why do we have always chaturthi with namaha, right?
नमस्कारक्रिया
Kriya nasti actually when we say, true, when I say namaskaroti, it is paninim namaskaromi. Here the chaturthi is because of the word namaha, right? So namaha ityasya yoge chaturthi, that is a standard rule. So the word panini gets chaturthi here because it is related to the word namaha, not to the kriya. Here the kriya, if we do adhyahara of a kriya here, it will be say namaha astu or namaha asti. So whatever is namas is there or let it be there. That is related to the kriya, not panini. Okay? So this is an upapada vibhakti where namaha is the cause for chaturthi on panini. Okay. So we'll see the sutra, don't worry. So I just gave it because the general thing we know that namaha gets chaturthi. So there namaha is not a kriya pada as such. So it is related to the word namaha in the sentence. Next, Jagataha Pitarau Vande. Rajalakshmi Bhagini.
जगतः पितरौ अत्र षष्ठी सम्बन्धषष्ठी कारक it is षष्ठी कारक
No,
and here janya janaka
sambandha, not karaka, sambandha.
Sambandha, janya janaka sambandha.
Then pitarau.
I must take both separately. Okay. Pitarau vande. Atra karma karaka.
Which is the vibhakti?
Dvitiya vibhakti.
Dvitiya vibhakti. Correct. So, jagataha is Shashti Vibhakti, where the nimitta is sambandha, relation to the parents. So the world is born from the parents. So sambandha is the nimitta for Shashti here. Whereas Pitarau Vande. So Pitarau is a Karaka Vibhakti. Karma, the object of salutation is Pitarau. So Dvitiya Vibhakti Tatra Karakam Nimittam Bhavati. So which Karaka incidentally is Karma Karaka. Next, Shraddhavan Labhate Jnanam. Jnanam, Pravina Bhagini.
ज्ञानं श्रद्धावान् लभते ज्ञानं द्वितीया विभक्ति अत्र द्वितीया विभक्ति प्रवर्तो कर्मकारकत्वं निमित्तम् अस्ति ज्ञानक्रिया निरूपितं कर्मत्वं निमित्तम्
Labhakriya Nimittam Karmatvam Jnanas. Labha is the kriya.
Oh yeah.
So for the kriya, jnana is the nimitta.
Labhakriya.
Labhakriya. So jnanam ityatra dvitiya vibhakti, and it is again a karaka vibhakti. Karaka is the nimitta because it is the karma, the object of attainment. We get dvitiya there. Right? So Ramo Rajamani Sada Vijayate. Maithili Saranathan.
नमस्ते भगिनी राम प्रातिपदिकार्थः अतः प्रातिपदिकार्थः एव
सम्यक् सो प्रथमा विभक्तिः for prathama vibhakti
वक्तुम् अनुमतिः अस्ति वा प्रथमा विभक्तिः न वक्तव्यम् इति
अत्र विभक्तिम् अभिज्ञाय किं निमित्तं what is the vibhakti and what is the nimitta, that is what we are looking. So Ramaha is prathama vibhakti and the nimitta for that vibhakti is pratipadikārtha. He is the karta, right? Rama is vijayate, Ramaha vijayate, Rama is the karta, but here the vibhakti is conveying the sense of pratipadikārtha, the sense of the pratipadika. Right? All prathama vibhakti is always pratipadikārtha. Janami natvam vina. Hema Sridhar.
नमस्ते भगिनी अत्र जानामि न त्वां विना इति अस्ति विना इति प्रयोगः अस्ति अतः अत्र विना इत्यस्य इति कारणेन तत्र त्वाम् इत्यत्र द्वितीया भवति तत्र तृतीया पञ्चमी अपि भवितुम् अर्हति इति कृत्वा अत्र उपपदविभक्तिः उपपद
त्वाम् इति द्वितीया विभक्तिः उपपदविभक्तिः. It is there because it is related to vina. Okay, the sentence does not mean tvam janami or tvam na janami. It neither means I know you, nor does it mean I don't know you. It is not connected to knowing at all. He's saying I don't know anything other than you. So tvam vina anyam na janami iti tatparyam. So tvam is not connected to the action. It is connected to vina. Therefore, it is called an upapada vibhakti. Said it can be multiple. It could be tvaya vina, it could be tvatvina. Here we use dvitiya. In any case, it is related to vina and not to janami. The next one, Maithili Ramaswamy.
नमस्ते भगिनी अभयं सर्वभूतेभ्यो ददाम्येतत् व्रतं मम अत्र सर्वभूतेभ्यः चतुर्थी विभक्ति कारक संप्रदानकारकम् अस्ति मम मम षष्ठी संबंध
सम्यक्. So सर्वभूतेभ्यः इति चतुर्थी विभक्तिः तत्र निमित्तं भवति कारकम्. So sarvabhutebhyaha abhayam dadami. So everybody receives that compassion, that abhaya from Rama, right? So the recipient of abhaya, intended recipient, therefore it is karaka, sampradana karaka. Chaturthi vibhakti is based on karaka. Mama vratam. So vrata, there is a sambandha with mama. Right? So Shashti Vibhakti, it is a Sambandha. Next, Maya Tatamidam Sarvam Jagadavyakta Murtina. Sudha Shrikant.
मया तत्तमिदं सर्वं जगदव्यक्तमूर्तिना अत्र मया इति तृतीया विभक्ति कर्तरि तृतीया अस्ति.
Samyak. So Maya Tatam. Tatam is with that which is encompassed by me. Right? So I am the one who is doing the encompassing. Therefore, it is Karaka Tritiya.
Karaka Tritiya. Kartari Karaka. Idam Sarvam. So Sarvam iti Dvitiya Vibhakti asti atra. And Karma Padam.
Is it Dvitiya? Idam Sarvam Maya Tatam.
No, Prathama Vibhakti asti, but Karma Karakam asti.
Karma, Sarva is Karma Karaka. But what is the Vibhakti is Prathama. What is the Nimitta for Prathama Vibhakti?
Because it is in this thing. It is in Karmani.
No, the Nimitta for Prathama is always Pratipadikartha. You don't have to think of it. Whether it is Karma or Karta. The Nimitta for Prathama Vibhakti is always Pratipadikartha. The Prathama Vibhakti there does not convey whether it is Karta or Karma. Right? We decide that based on other objects in the sentence. So the Prathama Vibhakti there just conveys whatever is in the Pratipadika. That is what we mean. Next. Akashat patitantoyam yatha gacchati sagaram. Mahadevan.
Akashat patitantoyam yatha gacchati sagaram. Akashat iti panchame ekavachanam. Apadana Karaka.
So it is a Karaka Vibhakti, Panchami Vibhakti based on the Karaka, which is Apadana, separation. So water falls from the sky to the earth. So it was in the sky, it is getting separated and falling to the earth. So it is a Karaka Vibhakti. Samyak. Next, Gurunaiva Sahasmi Namo Gurave. Veena Bhagini.
नमस्ते भगिनी. गुरुणा एव सहास्मि. अत्र तृतीया विभक्तिः. सः इति उपपदस्य योगे तृतीया विभक्तिः, उपपदक विभक्तिः. नमो गुरवे, तत्र गुरवे इति चतुर्थी विभक्तिः. नमः इति शब्दस्य योगे तत्रापि उपपद निमित्तमेव.
Samyak. So both Tritiya and Chaturthi here are Upapada Vibhaktis. So Tritiya is there because of the word Saha. Chaturthi is there because of the word Namaha. So both these are Upapada Vibhaktis. Guruna iti Tritiya, Gurave iti Chaturthi. Pashyami devam stava deva dehe. Leena Bhagini.
पश्यामि देवान् तव देव देहे. अत्र देवान् इत्यत्र द्वितीया बहुवचनं कर्मकारकं. तव इत्यत्र षष्ठी विभक्ति सम्बन्ध अस्ति. तत्र देहे इत्यत्र सप्तमी अस्ति अधिकरणं.
Samyak. So devan iti dvitiya, it is based on the karaka, right, which is karma. Devan pashyami. Tava is related to dehe. Tava dehe. So your body. So there the Shashti Vibhakti is because of the Sambandha. Dehe pashyami. So deha is the substratum adhikarana for the action of seeing. So it is a Karaka Vibhakti. Saptami is a Karaka Vibhakti. Right? I hope everything is clear. Any doubts in Asmin Abhyase? Okay. So the next exercise is about Karaka. Right? So the previous one, the focus was on the Vibhakti, but now we move to Karaka. So for Karaka, the first thing is to identify the actions, Kriyaha. Actions could be conveyed by Tingantas or Kridantas. It does not matter. It is possible to have Karaka relation. As long as there is a dhatu which conveys action, there can be Karakas. So we have to identify the action and which are the karakas related to that particular action. Right? So Balaha Sayam Kridangane Kridanti. Please raise your hands. Anybody who has not tried so far? Sharada Gopalan.
Namaste Bhagini.
Ha.
Balaha Sayam Kridangane Kridanti. Atra Kridanti is the Kriya Padam. Tadanugunam Kridangane is the Saptami Adhikarana Karakam atra. Balaha Pratama Vibhakti asti. Vibhakti karta. Kartrukarakam.
Balaha iti kartrukarakam. Kridanganam iti adhikaranakarakam. Any other karaka?
Sayam iti samayam bodhati. Tatra karakam asti va tat.
Yadi sayankala shabdah prayujyate katham uchyate?
Dvitiya bhavati.
Balaha
Karma karakam.
Sayankalam kridanti iti bhavati va?
Sayankale ityeva bhavati.
Sayankale. So kale is again adhikarana. Any time or any place is always adhikarana, because something happens in any action has to happen in a particular place in a particular time. Right? So both time and space are substratum adhikarana for the action always. Right? So again, the idea here is don't go just by Saptami Vibhakti. You have to go by the meaning. Right? Sayam means in the evening time. So that evening time is adhikarana for action, which is krida. So atra kridana kriya asti, tatra balaha kartrikarakam. Boys are the people who are playing. So they are the karta. And adhikaranam, you have a time and a space mentioned. Both of them are adhikaranas. So it does not matter whether sayam is an avyayam, what vibhakti it has. So in the evening, that is the adhikarana. Next one, vrikshat parnani patanti. Yes, Sumita.
Patana kriya vrikshat parnani patanti. Patana kriya asti. Parnani kartaraha vrikshat apadana karakam.
Samyak. So atra patana kriya asti patanti iti kriyapadena. Tatra parnani kartrikarakam. So the agent of falling, the action is in the leaves, and vrikshaha apadanam, because the leaves get separated from the tree. Samyak. Atra idanim Shyamala Ramachandra.
वृक्षस्य पर्णानि वायुः पातयति. पातनक्रियायाः कर्ता वायुः, कर्म पर्णानि. वृक्षस्य सम्बन्ध अस्ति वा? वृक्षस्य.
That is not a karaka. Karakatvam nasti atra vrikshasya. So patana kriyayam vayuhu karta bhavati and parnani karma. Vriksha here is just related to parnani. Kasya parnani vrikshasya parnani ityeva sambandhaha eva asti. Patana kriyaya saha sambandhaha nasti. Ataha vrikshaha iti atra karakam na bhavati.
अग्रिमं वदामि.
पश्यामः अग्रे. अक्षय तृतीयायां धनिकेन दरिद्रेभ्यः गावः वस्त्राणि च प्रदत्तानि. अग्रिमं सायनव्य.
अक्षय तृतीयायां धनिकेन दरिद्रेभ्यः गावः वस्त्राणि च प्रदत्तानि. अत्र आसन् इत्याध्याहर्तव्यं. प्रदत्तानि इत्यत्र दानक्रिया. अक्षय तृतीया अधिकरणं. धनिकः कर्ता. दरिद्रेभ्यः सम्प्रदानं. गावः कर्म. वस्त्राणि च कर्म. तत्र भवनक्रियायां तु गावः कर्तारः वस्त्राणि च कर्तारः.
सम्यक्. सो अत्र प्रधानक्रिया वाक्ये दत्ते पदे प्रधानक्रिया अस्ति अथवा दानक्रिया. तत्र दानक्रियायां कर्ता अस्ति धनिकः. धनिकेन प्रदत्तानि. Who gives is the dhanika, right? Therefore he is the karta. Then what does he give? Gavaha vastrani, right? So he gives cows and cloths. They are the object karma. Daridraha, so the poor people are the sampradana. And then when does he give? The action happens on a day, Akshaya Tritiya. Therefore that is the adhikaranam. So vakye yat padam asti kriyapadam tattu pradattani. अस्माभिः तत्र आसन् अथवा सन्ति इति अध्याहारः क्रियते चेत् तत्र अन्यानि कारकाणि. So गावः वस्त्राणि प्रदत्तानि सन्ति. So that would be the karta there. Okay, so that
Is that compulsory to add the bhavanakriya?
What happens is Vyakaranas have a theory that without a tinganta, a sentence is not really complete. Okay. But in general, for the understanding purpose, in such cases, when we have tavatu and ta, the adhyahara is not essential. Okay. That does not add anything to the understanding. It is an overall scheme of Vyakarana. Astu. Agre. Anima. Bhagini.
नमस्ते भगिनि. आधुनिककाले जनाः विमानेन सुदूरान् अपि स्थलान् शीघ्रमेव प्राप्नुवन्ति.
So make it sthalani. It was an error. Sthala is napumsakalinga. So sudurani sthalani.
अस्तु. आधुनिककाले अधिकरणकारकं
का क्रिया का अस्ति?
प्राप्नुवन्ति.
So prapana kriya, act of reaching is the action.
अत्र आधुनिककाले अधिकरणकारकं जनाः प्राप्नुवन्ति अतः प्रातिपदिकं जनाः.
किं कारकं? Don't think about vibhakti now. What is the karaka?
प्रातिपदिकम् अस्ति किल, सो अतः कारकं नास्ति.
No. That is exactly what I meant. Who go? Who reach? Jana. Jana is karaka. Prathama vibhakti there is not karakartha. That does not mean jana is not karaka. That is what I have been trying to tell, right? The vibhakti, there are two things there. Jana iti pratipadikam asti, jas iti prathama vibhakti asti. The prathama vibhakti does not indicate any karaka. But karaka is not for the word janaha. Who goes? Who reach? The people reach. So people are the karta for the action of reaching. There is no doubt about that.
कर्तृकारकम् इति वक्तव्यं वा?
Karta janaha eva kartaraha. No doubt about it. 100%.
प्रातिपदिकम् अस्ति चेत् कर्तृकारकम् इति वक्तव्यम्.
No. That is what? Whether it is janaha prapnuvanti, janaihi prapyate. In both cases. Right? For example, let's make a simple sentence. Janaha dehalim prapnuvanti, janaihi dehali prapyate. Forget about what is the vibhakti. So for karaka, don't look at whether it is prathama or tritiya. Who goes? What is the action? The action is reaching. Who reach? Janas. So will you say in janaihi nagaram prapnuvanti, jana is the karta? But if I say janaha dehalim prapnuvanti, they are not the karta?
Karta.
Karaka is meaning. What is the meaning? People reach. Right? So people are the karta. You don't even have to say janaha. You can say karta is the people. Right? That is the key factor we are trying to do. Don't determine by the vibhakti. I did not mean the word in prathama vibhakti is not a karaka.
अहं तादृशं चिन्तितवती अस्तु
No, no, भवती एव न बहुभिः यत् तदेव चिन्त्यते तदर्थमेव अयम् अभ्यासः दत्तः. The reason I gave the two exercises with each other is it does not mean the word in Prathama Vibhakti is not a Karaka at all. I am saying Prathama Vibhakti. When I say Prathama Vibhakti, so mentally please separate. There is a Pratipadika, there is one meaning, and there is the Vibhakti. When I say Vibhakti, it means purely that su, au, jas. So jas does not indicate any Karaka. But jana is the Karaka there. People are the Kartrukaraka. Okay, is that clear now?
आमां भगिनि धन्यवादः
Next. So jana
विमान
are Kartrukarakam. Next.
विमानेन अतः करणकारकं
Vimanam Karanam.
विमानं करणं
Next.
सुदूराणि स्थलानि द्वयोः अपि कर्मकारकत्वमस्ति.
How many karmas are there?
विशेषणविशेषं भवति किल तत्र.
There's only one karma. The sthala is the karma, which is also expressed by a different word called sudura. Okay, sthala is the karma. Places are the karma, object of reaching.
So sudurani api karmakarakattvam prapnoti va?
So what do you mean by karaka there? Do you mean the word sudura? Karaka is not for a word. It is for the place. So there are places. The places are karma. That's all. Sudurani ityatra samana vibhaktihi. So whatever the words you have for that karaka will have the same vibhakti. But there is only one object there, which is the places. Thalani karma. That's all. Yes.
So sudurani, I will just say vibhakti asti. The same vibhakti is there, but I wouldn't put it as karma karakam.
Yeah. I mean, sudurani, what is it? It is the same object, actually.
But I should not mention it as karma karakam.
Yeah.
Astu. Okay. Shigrameva atra kimapi nasti kila?
Kimasti. Shigram is not an object, right? When I say karakam. No, it is a kriya visheshana. It is describing the action. The action was done quickly. Right? It is an adverb. It is not a karaka. It is not a padartha. Right? So, I mean, not a padartha. I mean, it is not a material object. Technically, we will call it karma later. But for now, you can ignore. It is an adverb. It is describing the action. So, we don't, for now, let us leave shigram. So, atra kriya asti prapana kriya, tatra janaha kartaraha, sthalani. So, sudurani sthalani, there are two words to describe, but there is only one karma, which is the far off places. Those are the karma. Right? Karanam tatra vimanam, adhikaranam asti adhunika kalaha. Right? So, that modern times is the intended as the adhikarana here. So next, Nalini Bhagini.
नमस्ते भगिनि, श्रूयते वा? अस्तु। अत्र क्रियाद्वयम् अस्ति। प्रथमम् आनयनं, तत्र कर्ता पिता अस्ति, कर्म फलानि, अपादानं ग्रामात्, ग्रामः अपादानं।
ग्रामः अपादानं, सम्यक्। So प्रथमा क्रिया अस्ति आनयन क्रिया, तत्र पिता कर्तृकारकं भवति, फलानि कर्म भवन्ति, ग्रामः अपादानं. So the person who is bringing is father, the object that is being brought is fruits, and the separation from the grama they were brought. Therefore it is apadana. Then
दानक्रिया, द्वितीया क्रिया दानक्रिया, अत्रापि पिता एव कर्ता भवति, कर्म फलानि, संप्रदानं पुत्राः.
सम्यक्. So the same thing, pita karta phalani aniya putrebhyah dadati. So the object is phala and the sampradana, recipient of action, is putraha. Next, anybody else wants to try? Rupa Sudha Bhagini. Na shruyate. I can't hear you. Rupa Sudha Bhagini. Please check your mic. Shiva Subramanyam Mahoday. Shiva Subramanyam Mahoday.
1 second.
Ramah
Banena Valinam Hatva Sugrivam Simhasane Pratishtapayamasa. Atra Ananakriya Api Pratishtapana
Samyak. Kriyadvayam asti.
Kriyadvayam asti. Ananakriya chet Ramaha is the karta. Karma Bali. Banena Adhika Karanam.
Banaha Karanam. So Hanana Kriyayam Ramaha Karta Vali Karma Banaha Karanam.
Pratishtapana Kriyayam Ramaha Karta Sugrivaha
Karma
Simhasane Adhikaranam.
Simhasanam Adhikaranam. So Pratishtapanam. So in the action of establishing, Ramaha Karta, Sugrivaha Karma, Simhasanam Adhikaranam. Samyak. Agre. Savita Bhagini.
मया विरचितं चित्रं दृष्ट्वा अध्यापकः सन्तुष्टः प्रशंसावचनानि अवदत् त्रयम् अस्ति विरचितं दर्शनम् अवदत् दृश्यमपि अस्ति ओके त्रयमेव अस्ति
चतुर्थमपि अस्ति सन्तुष्यन् सन्तोषक्रिया अपि अस्ति सो चतस्रः क्रियाः अत्र सन्ति
मया विरचितं तत्र मया एव कर्तृकार्यम्
अहं कर्ता who wrote I wrote the what did I
दर्शनक्रियायाम् अहं अध्यापकः दृष्ट्वा अध्यापकः is the कर्ता chitram again is the karma darshanakriya.
So correct. So let's go. So for all these long sentences, the easiest is we can make smaller sentences. So first, what are we saying? I wrote a chitra. I created a picture. Right. So that's all. So maya virachitam chitram. So virachana kriya asti. Karta is aham. I did something. What did I do was a chitra. So chitram karma. Tavadev. Agrima kriya ka asti. Darshana kriya asti. So who saw what? The adhyapaka saw the picture. So adhyapakaha karta. Chitram karma. Right? Right. Next.
So tushyan. Santushyan atra. Adhyapaka santushyan.
So rejoiced or delighted was the kriya. Kimapi nasti. So adhyapakaha karta ekameva karakam asti. The teacher rejoiced. Tavadeva. So adhyapakasya santosha kriyayam kartrutvam anyani karakani na santi. Next.
Vadana kriyayam adhyapakaha prashamsa vachanani adhyapaka karta prashamsa vachanani
Samyak. So adhyapakaha karta prashamsa vachanani karma. Right? So there are 4 smaller sentences here. So one says, I wrote a picture. The second one says, the teacher saw the picture. The third one says, the teacher rejoiced. The fourth one says, the teacher uttered some words of praise. That is all. Okay. So for Karaka, 4 sentences in which we have Karta Karma. Right? So the vibhakti is there, as you can see when we make such sentences. So there are a lot of vibhaktis. What exactly is the vibhakti to be used? That is the essence of vibhakti artha prakarana, right? So That is why we are studying this. We will reach there. Don't worry about the vibhaktis now. Concentrate only on the meaning. You can even understand in your own language. For karaka, it is purely meaning. Who did, what was done, how. Right? So you can ask about the kriya to identify the karaka. Don't worry about the long sentence or the sentence construction. So that is the next part. First part is to just identify each action and identify the karakas. First, agrimam. Anybody else wants to try? Who hasn't tried so far? Vamshi Sudha Bhagini.
नमस्ते महोदय पाणिनेः रचनायाम् अष्टाध्याय्याम् अष्टौ अध्यायाः सन्ति प्रथमं तु सन्ति इति क्रियापदमस्ति तत्र तु पाणिनेः रचनायां पाणिनेः इति षष्ठीविभक्त्याम् अस्ति तत्र सम्बन्धार्थे अस्ति पाणिनेः रचनायाम् अष्टाध्याय्यां विशेषभावः अस्ति अष्टाध्याय्यां कीदृश रचनायाम् अष्टाध्याय्याम् अष्टौ अध्यायाः तत्र प्रथमविभक्त्याम् अस्ति यतोहि सन्ति इति अकर्मकः धातुः अस्ति अष्टौ अध्यायाः इति प्रथमविभक्त्याम् अस्ति.
But the karaka, I want the karaka. What is the kriya which are the karakas?
तत्र तु कर्तृकारकः अस्ति अष्टौ अध्यायाः इति कर्तृकारकः
अध्यायाः इति कर्तृकारकम् अष्टौ अध्यायाः. Then
सन्ति इति क्रियापदम् अस्ति
सत्ता क्रियायाम् अध्यायाः कर्तृकारकम्. अन्यत् किं कारकम् अस्ति?
रचनायाम् अष्टाध्याय्यां तु अधिकरणे
अष्टाध्याय्याम् इति अधिकरणकारकम्. सो सन्ति इत्यनेन सत्ता क्रिया बोध्यते. तत्र अध्यायाः अष्टौ अध्यायाः इति कर्तृकारकम् अष्टाध्याय्याम् इति अधिकरणकारकम्. Is there only one action in the sentence?
One only, I think. Santi.
Creation. Rachana is creation. Oh. Creation is an action. Who created?
Paninehe rachanayam. Paninehe rachanayam.
Who is the karta?
Panini eva karta.
Panini atra karta. So creation, rachana kriyayam paninihi karta. Karma kim?
Astu. पाणिनेः रचना अस्तु तत्र कर्म कथं भवति तत्र तु सम्बन्धार्थे अस्ति न तत्र
Who created what? Forget that. Forget sambandha. Who created what?
Panini is the karta.
Ashtadhyayi. Panini is the karta. Ashtadhyayi is the karma.
So, evam va astu.
Tadeva karakam. So, rachana is creation. Kena rachitam, paninina rachitam. Kim rachitam, ashtadhyayi rachita. So, rachana kriyayam, paninihi karta, ashtadhyayi karma. There is no doubt about it. Forget there is saptami here. It's okay. Saptami, that is why the vibhakti is different. Karaka is different. Karaka is for the meaning. Rachana is an action. Who is writing will be the karta. What is written is the karma. So, rachana kriyayam paninihi karta ashtadhyayi karma. Then you have the satta kriya santi ityatra tatra adhyayaha ashtau adhyayaha. Adhyayaha iti kartrikarakam. Adhyayaha santi. So, kesham satta adhyayanam. What exists is the adhyaya. That is the karta. Where? Ashtadhyayam. So, ashtadhyayi is the adhikarana for satta kriya. It is the karma for rachana kriya. Okay, both of them have been expressed in the sentence. How is what we are trying to learn. Next.
Yateva Bhagini.
Preeti Bhagini. Yes.
Namaste. Atra kriya padani त्रीणि सन्ति. प्रथमं क्रयण क्रिया तत्र भगिनी कर्ता कर्म शाटिकाः. द्वितीय भवति स्वीकरण क्रिया तत्रापि कर्ता भगिनी. धनं कर्म भवति जनकात् अपादानं भवति कारकं तृतीय भवति अगच्छत् तत्र भगिनी कर्ता आपणं भवति कर्मः कर्ण भवति त्रिचक्रिका
सम्यक् सो अत्र क्रियात्रयमस्ति आदौ क्रयणक्रिया टु बै हू इस् बयिङ्ग् भगिनी अतः भगिनी कर्त्री what is she buying शाटिकाः so शाटिका is the karma so क्रयणक्रियायां भगिनी कर्तृकारकं शाटिकाः कर्मकारकं the next action is स्वीकरणक्रिया okay? to take का स्वीकरोति भगिनी स्वीकरोति so she is taking so she is the kartri what is she taking here is dhana right so for buying she buys saris but she takes money so dhanam karma from whom is the money coming from the father so father is the apadana for svikarana kriya right so bhagini karta kartri dhanam karma janakah apadanam bhavati so tritiya kriya asti gamana kriya का गतवती भगिनी गतवती अतः भगिनी एव कर्त्री where did she reach right so is the apana so that is the karma and karana is trichakrika the three wheeler or the auto rickshaw
अत्र मम अपि अस्ति खलु सम्बन्धषष्ठी अपि भगिन्या सह
अत्र किं कारकं कारकम् एव अस्माभिः ज्ञातव्यम् अहं कारकं नास्मि because I am not doing any of these actions right so my sister is going she is buying she is taking I am not involved in any of the actions so I am not a karaka अस्तु अग्रिमं शुभदा भगिनी
नमस्कारः भगिनी जगतः स्रष्टारं कृष्णं नत्वा नारायणः गुरुवायुपुरक्षेत्रे नारायणीयाख्यं ग्रन्थं रचयामास इति वाक्यं तत्र रचयामास इति एकं क्रियापदं नत्वा इति अन्यत् क्रियापदं स्रष्टारं इति अपि अन्यत् क्रियापदं क्रियापदत्रयम् अत्र अस्ति रचयामास इति क्रियापदं स्वीकृत्य नारायणः इति कर्ता ग्रन्थम् इति कर्म नारायणीयाख्यम् इति तस्य विशेषणम् अतः नारायणीयाख्यं ग्रन्थम् इति कर्मपदम् इति वक्तुं शक्यते गुरुवायुपुरक्षेत्रे इति अधिकरणकारकं
so रचनक्रियायां कारकत्रयमस्ति नारायणः कर्ता गुरुवायुपुरक्षेत्रम् अधिकरणं ग्रन्थः कर्म
नत्वा इति नमनक्रिया स्वीकृत्य पुनः नारायणः इति कर्ता कृष्णम् इति तस्य कर्मकारकं
कर्म
क्षम्यतां कृष्णः इति कर्मकार किं वक्तव्यं कृष्णः इति
तावदेव नत्वा नमनक्रियायां नारायणः कर्ता कृष्णः कर्म so narayana saluted krishna so narayana is the karta and krishna is the karma then
कृष्णः इति कर्म जगतः स्रष्टारम् अत्र सृजनक्रिया इति अस्ति तस्य पुनः तस्य कृष्णः इति कर्ता तावदेव जगतः इति सम्बन्धः अस्ति कारकं नास्ति
what did krishna
कृत्वा
create
एकमेव जगत् जगत् इति कर्म क्षम्यतां
जगत् इति कर्म इव so again so come out of shashti vibhakti krishna created the world what is the karta is krishna what did he create the world so world is karma krishna is karta so prathama kriya tatra sarjana kriya the act of creation in which krishna is the karta karta and Jagat is the karma. Okay. So there are two karakas. The second kriya is namana kriya. Tatra Narayanaha karta. Narayanaha Krishnam natavan. So Narayanaha karta, Krishnaha karma. The third action is Rachana kriya, act of creating. Kaha Narayanaha kritavan, rachitavan. Kim rachitavan grantham. Narayaniyakyam grantham. So Narayaniyakhyaha grantha. The text called Narayaniya is the karma. And where did he create is Guruvayupura kshetre, Guruvayur. Tat adhikaranam bhavati. Okay. Samyak.
धन्यवादः.
Anybody else wants to try?
Can I try? Can I say?
Sharada Bhagini. Vadatu.
Okay. आदौ प्रथमा क्रिया अस्ति लेखनक्रिया कर्तृ शिष्याः कर्म अस्ति प्रबन्धानि then the क्रिया द्वितीया क्रिया अस्ति परिष्करणक्रिया कर्तृ अध्यापकः कर्म अस्ति दोषाः करणम् अस्ति रक्तलेखनी.
Any other karaka? For dosha parishkara, who corrected? Adhyapaka karta. With what? Yes.
Prabandheshu adhik.
Errors in the essays.
Adhikaranam prabandhani.
Prabandhaha adhikaranam.
Okay.
Samyak. So, lekhana kriyayam shishyaha kartaraha. The students wrote essays. That is the first sentence. So, who wrote Shishyaha? So, they are the karta. What did they write? Essays, prabandhaha. So, that is the karma. Dvitiya kriya ka asti parishkriyante. Right? So, parishkara, to correct. So, who corrected? The lecturer, adhyapakaha. So, he is the karta. What did he correct? Dosha, the errors. So, that is the karma. With what did he do the correction? With a red pen. So that is the instrument karanam. In what did he correct the errors? The errors were in the essays. So prabandha is adhikaranam. Right? Samyak. Agre. Vakyadvayam asti. Yaihi noktam te kepi. Vaktum ichanti chet.
Vadami va?
Shyamala Bhagini.
बालिका प्रातः उत्थाय उष्णजलेन स्नात्वा वार्तापत्रिकां पठन्ती मात्रा दत्तं क्षीरं पिबति. उत्थापनक्रिया कर्ता बालिका कर्म नास्ति अधिकरणं प्रातः.
Utthana the act of getting up. Tatra balika kartri prataha iti adhikaranam.
कर्म नास्ति. स्नानक्रिया कर्ता बालिका करणम् उष्णजलम्.
Samyak. So balika ushnajalena snati. So balika iti kartri ushnajalam karanam.
पठनक्रिया कर्ता बालिका कर्म वार्तापत्रिका.
So balika vartapatrikam pathati. Ataha tatra balika kartri asti vartapatrika karma.
दानक्रिया कर्ता माता कर्म क्षीरम.
Samyak. So danakriyayam mata kartri. Who gives? The mother gives.
Who is reading the newspaper? I thought the mata is reading the newspaper.
If mata was reading, it would have been patantya matra. Right? So patanti is the girl is reading.
पानक्रिया कर्ता बालिका क्षीरम कर्म.
Samyak. So panakriyayam balika kartri asti kshiram karma asti. Samyak. So 5 actions here. The balika is doing 4 of them. She is waking up, she is taking bath, she is reading, and she is drinking. Mata does one action, which is giving milk. Okay. Yes. Was there a question?
सम्प्रदानक्रिया बालिका इति वक्तुं शक्नुमः खलु?
Sampradanam asti, though there is nothing in the sentence which tells. It is implied that mother gives to the balika. Satyam. Into atra sampradanam vakye na uchyate. It is not explicitly stated in the sentence. But arthashaha satyam. Mata balika yai dadati iti we imply. I mean, it is, we get it by implication. Antimam vakyam. Rupa Sudha Bhagini, itopi na shruyate. There is some problem with your mic, I think. Yes, anybody else wants to try? Okay. Yes, Sumita Bhagini.
Can I tell again? Oh, okay. Somebody else. Okay.
Sumita Bhagini.
Nivasa Kriya. Sorry, Dandakaranye Sataramena Tatra Tapacharataha Maharshin Pidayantaha Yajnan Nashayantaha Kharadushanadayah Chaturdasha Sahasram Rakshasaha Marita Doshaha Sanchit Kshamyatam Nivasa Kriya Ramaha Karta Dandakaranyam Adhikaranam Charana Kriya Ramaha Charana Kriya Maharshayah Kartaraha Tapaha Karma Tatra Adhikarana. Tatra va Dandakaranyeti Vaktavyam va?
Dandakaranyam eva Tatra Adhikaranam, which is expressed by the word Tatra. But the Tatra refers to Dandakaranya. So Dandakaranyam eva Tatra Adhikaranam. Tat, what is that is Dandakaranyam.
Pidana Kriya Tatra Rakshasaha Kharadushanadayah Chaturdasha Sahasram Rakshasaha Kartaraha Maharshayah Karma Nashana Kriya Nashana Kriya Rakshasaha Kartaraha Kharadushanadayah Chaturdasha Sahasram Rakshasaha Kartaraha Yajnan Karma Marana Kriya Ramaha Karta Kharadushanadayah Chaturdasha Sahasram Rakshasaha Karma Atra Dandakaranyam Adhikaranam va iti na jani.
Atra na uktamasti. Again, the Vakya doesn't mention it. It only says Dandakaranye. He lived in Dandakaranya and they did tapas in Dandakaranya. The Vakya doesn't mention where he killed. So, ataha.
So that we need not add, no?
Need not add. Yeah. Here, whatever is stated in the sentence, we are trying to analyze. So the sentence does not mention an adhikarana for killing. So the normal anvaya is Dandakaranye nivasam karoti. Rama lived in Dandakaranya. The Maharshis were doing tapas in Dandakaranya. That is the second one. Third is there, the Rakshasas were tormenting the Maharshis, is the third sentence. They were destroying the Yajnas. The Rakshasas destroyed the Yajnas is the fourth sentence. Rama killed the Rakshasas is the fifth sentence. Right? So, as I said, so this Kharadushana, for example, if we see here, Rakshasaha, they are doing two actions. One is Pidayantaha, the other is Nashayantaha. They are tormenting and destroying, and they are being killed by Rama. Right? So they are Karta for two actions, and they are the Karma for one action. So what I mean is, this Prathama Vibhakti does not tell whether they are Karta or Karma. Right? So there is something else which expresses that. That is what I mean by saying Prathama Vibhaktihi Pratipadikarte. It does not mean these Rakshasaha are not a Karaka. They are both Karta and Karma. So when there is a problem, which Vibhakti do we use is a question. Okay? That is what we have to resolve. When there is a simple sentence, okay, Ramaha Rakshasam Marayati, it's easier. But when we have such mixture, which is very natural in the language, right? So the same object is both Karta and karma, how do we determine what is the vibhakti? What are the factors that are involved in saying this Kharadushanadayaha should be Prathama and not, Dvitiya? Because we know generally karma. So should we consider them as karma or as karta? What is the case is what we are trying to resolve through this chapter. Any other questions? So I think we will stop here for today. Asya adhyayasya adyapi tatra itopi drishyamshadvayam bhavishyati. So please go through, please resolve the exercises. As I mentioned, for this chapter, we will be having one session. There is no Vagvardhini because it's a very new topic and we have not even gone into sutras. So we will be analyzing the exercises in the Friday session. Okay.
Again, one question. When we say this kriya, right, like is that all the niyatalinga pada we say nivasaha iti kriya, or krida kriya, or nivasana kriya, lut, always do we use that lut prayoga? How should we say it correctly?
Both are correct. See, for both lut, we can say nivasana kriya or nivasa kriya. Generally, it is easier to use lut. Sometimes when it is, nivasa is a very popular one. Both of them, nivasaha, nivasanam, both of them mean the act of living. Right? So both can be used. There is no restriction. So nivasana kriya, nivasa.
What is that?
Ghai.
Okay.
Both of them can be used. So there is a question, amaranam. Amaranam iti samasaha. See, always. So do we look at if there is a space for karma pravachaniya? More than the space, it is the vibhakti. So amaranat. Like I say, Sitayaha patihi is vyasta prayoga. Sita patihi is samasta prayoga. How do we identify a samasa? We identify generally, there are different factors, but generally that the vibhakti pratyaya on the original subanta is lost. Okay. So if we have that vibhakti there, it is a separate prayoga. If there is a samasa, it will be amaranam is a single word.
Bhagini, mama samshaya asti Himalayat Himalayam api asti kila.
Satyam.
Tattu
Himalayam iti samasaha. Karma pravachaniya sanya ubhayatra bhavati. That is not a problem. Like, whether you have that, as long as that meaning is there, you will have karma pravachaniya samya. You will not have a vibhakti because the samasa has taken away the vibhakti. Even in Himalayam, when the words are separate, it will be Himalayat. Right? Himalayad arabhya. There is panchami. When you do the samasa, the vibhakti is taken away. There is karma pravachaniya in both cases. That there nothing affects the samnya itself.
So if I get Himalayam, what would I be writing? Whether it is just karma.
What is the question? What is the question?
There was a question asking what kind it is, right? Whether it is karma pravachaniya.
It is an avyaya. There is no vibhakti there. No. The question was if there is a vibhakti, what is the nimitta for that vibhakti?
No, not this times, Bhagini. Last times. Last time's assignment, whether it is karma pravachaniya or avyayi bhava samasa, avyayi bhava, how do we get the avyayam?
Which one? The same assignment, right? You're saying the first exercise of this exercise.
No. 11.7 to 11.9.
What was the exercise?
Avyayam. Why is it in avyayam? The reason
there it is avyaya because it is amaranam is a single pada there. It is an avyaya because it is avyayi bhava. There is not an independent word, right?
Okay, so only when
it is an independent word, Himalaya, then is a separate word, which is an avyaya because it is karma pravachaniya or because it is pradi or nipata basically. It is an avyaya because it is a nipata. Okay. Whereas if you have Amaranam or Himalayam as a single word, that word is an avyaya because it is avyayi bhava.
So we should look for the space. Is that it?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. For that, yes, you can.
Astu, astu.
A is not a separate word there. So you cannot say A is an avyaya. Amaranam is the avyaya there.
Astu,
Or
astu.
Himalayam.
Astu.
So project submission is last day of August. Yes. It is okay. It's not a very hard deadline, but please try to complete it because it will keep getting postponed. But August, end of August, next week, you can submit the projects. Exam is likely to be in September or October. Probably not in September. These classes, there are still, I think, 3 or 4 weeks. So October is likely exam. I will try to see if I can come up with a more concrete date, depending on the number of weeks. I wanted to complete it before Navaratri so that there is no exam worries before Navaratri, but I will announce it. Okay.
The portions for exams
Yes,
would be after term 3 exam, whatever it's done, right?
Term 3 and 4. That is the entire Halanta. Halanta, Pullinga, Strilinga, Napumsakalinga, Avyaya, Karaka.
Liha Shabdad Arabhya.
Liha Shabdad Arabhya, Satyam. From Liha.
Astu.
So don't worry too much about Karaka. I will not ask much about it. Okay. But I mean, the last chapter, the intention of introducing it, that to introduce the concept. So again, there are some who are saying it's not very clear. So I just wanted to share. I know it's very late, but very honestly, I understood Karaka a bit after teaching it, say, 4 or 5 years. Okay. It's not very easy, and it has a lot of subtle things to be thought about. So please don't worry at all if you don't understand many of the things here. It's absolutely okay. So it will take multiple rounds. It has taken multiple rounds of teaching for me to reach some stage where again I wouldn't say I know everything. There are a lot of aspects there in Karaka. So first time, especially if you are learning the concept of Karakas, don't worry at all. Just listen and try to understand. Okay. I can promise you that next time, okay, once you do it 2 or 3 times in various contexts, it will become clearer. Astu, अत्र समापयामः. येनाक्षरसमाम्नायम् अधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः. वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयं. नत्वा सरस्वतीं देवीं शुद्धां गुण्यां करोम्यहं पाणिनीयप्रवेशाय लघुसिद्धान्तकौमुदीम्.